All right, now let's pivot back around to Montez Sweat to the Bears.
There we go. So it's a second-round pick. I think that's all it is for Montez Sweat. I think we'll probably hear potentially about a contract extension coming here. If I'm the Bears, I try to pounce as quick as humanly possible after Rashawn Gary got a 4-year, $96 million deal, $24 million per. Right. I try to anchor to that with everything in my being. I think that is well below Rashawn Gary's value. So I think it's great timing, and you can use that as an anchor. But yeah, just for a second-round pick by itself, and even if all you get is a third for Jalen Johnson, I think this kind of makes a lot of sense.
I mean, this is one of the rare trades that everybody wins, right? This, for a second round pick to get a guy like that, that's perfect, right? We just talked about he's not an elite, one of the best pass rushers in the NFL, but he's a good starting caliber pass rusher on a defensive line that doesn't have any. So to flip a second round pick rather for that, I think is perfectly fair value. For Washington to get a second round pick for the position they had put themselves in with two guys represented by the same person at the same position, essentially boxing them out from being able to get an extension done with any of them, that's great for them. And then if Montez Sweat, even if he ends up signing an extension that looks a lot like the Rashawn Gary deal, which is incredibly team-friendly and sort of below market value, because there is a gap between him and guys like Rashawn Gary, it's a good deal for him. This is win-win-win.
Yeah, I agree. It's a win-win-win. It is. Washington still has to view this as a win. You've made your decision. You're now working on with Chase Young. You still could have 3 extremely highly paid defensive linemen, and there was no guarantee you were getting anything as a comp pick, but at best you're getting a 2025 third. Now you get Chicago's 2024 second, which is still probably a top 40 draft pick.
Right.
Could be 32. We saw it was 32 last year. So this is a win for every party. And hey, good for Josh Harris. I'm not going to say it wasn't Ron Rivera and Martin Mayhew and Marty Herney, but good for Josh Harris and this new ownership to actually understand how to get value out of assets. I mean, you had 2 tags for Brandon Sheriff, walks for nothing. Every decision they made from a personnel standpoint was devoid of logic. This is, if I'm a Commanders fan, I'm more encouraged by this than anything Josh Harris has done so far.
I will say that's an important point to make. This pick could end up being number 32 overall, and even if it is, again, this is a significantly better way to spend that pick than Chase Claypool. That's, I think, a definitive statement we can make. This is a much better way of spending even a pick in the low 30s than spending it on Chase Claypool is. This will make a much bigger difference, and you're getting a much better player. So from that perspective, Chicago, good work. Don't get gun-shy by the one mistake you made.
Yeah, no, you're right. It's also true, right? Keep taking swings. And look, they still have 2 firsts this year. Probably both can be top 10. They have Carolina's second next year as well. So, you still have a ton of draft capital. They have Philly's 4th this year from the Robert Quinn trade. They still got some ammo. And you get this edge rusher class too. There are some fun names, but I think Latu is the best talent, and he was medically retired 2 years ago. So now you get a quarterback and a wide receiver or a tackle with 2 top 10 picks. You have a foundational piece on the defensive line. It's something.
That's a great point. Okay, you're dealing with rookies and cheaper deals, et cetera, so it's not apples to apples. But we went through the top guys in this draft, this pass rusher class with Trev a couple of weeks ago, and you're right. I think Latu's the best guy. I wouldn't be sure that Latu is better than Montez Sweat. I mean, you might be getting a guy that's better than anybody from this draft class, albeit for more expense, right? And you're getting him with a second-round draft pick. So I think it's a great move for Chicago. I think it's a great move for Washington to get something for the guy they're probably going to have to lose anyway. And if it gets Montez Sweat a giant big money extension, it's a great move for him as well. Win-win-win. That's going to do it for the show today. Stay tuned to PFF.com. Brad Spielberger has got a move tracker for all the trades that are going to happen over the course of the day. This is the first of many, hopefully.